Ba-da-da-da-da.
Thirsty. Well, there we go. It just cuts off like that. Sorry about that. But
Man.
I hope you liked Ashwin's little additions there. But
It's the remix edition.
it is the remix edition. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Built from Day One. I'm Ashwin. I'm not Ashwin. You're Ashwin.
Cameron.
I'm Cameron.
Intro's the outro.
I am spinning in circles after this game, apparently.
Was this a wild one?
It was a wild one. Timberwolves lose 124-96. Ouch. But
Ouch.
for me, I will say this was somewhat of an expected loss for me. I mean, Memphis has been a good team all year. Also, Memphis has usually beat us. Well, not this year. We've been pretty even with Memphis this year. But right now, actually, we are exactly even with them at 3-3 on the year. But we're going home now. Tied series. And now is when we see how the Timberwolves respond. I think this is where we see the real Timberwolves. And I'm excited to see that. Gerald's in chat, not happy.
But welcome anyways.
But
welcome 6 cents. Welcome StreamYard.
StreamYard's here. Nice.
Well, I show that comment.
Oh, I see. How are you feeling? How are you feeling after this game? Are you up? Are you down? Are you yes? Are you no?
I didn't really listen to much of what you just said there. We had a lot of adversity.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to play Timberwolves basketball. We just got to play some Timberwolves basketball. You know, we didn't come out with the energy. We got to stick to the game plan.
I think this was exactly Timberwolves basketball. I think, you get comfortable one game and then you just let up the next and let it go completely. I think that is Timberwolves basketball.
Ooh, hit the nail on the head. On the kick out, I mean. I would say that for everything that was positive about last game, we had an equal and opposite reaction. Tonight, I feel a little uneasy about this series. All of a sudden, I drank that Kool-Aid to the very last drop. I hardly could contain myself about how we ended up winning that game and how it felt that it was real that we were going to come out, and we did tonight. The first 5 minutes, all we needed to do was slow the game down just a hair. The refs helped us, but also we did it almost to perfection, and then we never really put our foot on any gas pedal. We just couldn't really come up with any strategy in the first half to how to get points. It was like, refs, please bail us out. Drawing illegal contacts and just kind of not playing, I don't know, structured at all.
No, yeah.
I felt like Finch was dealt maybe a couple bad hands with Cat getting into foul trouble as he kind of does every other game. Ant getting into foul trouble. And Nas kind of stinking it up the first minute he gets in. You know, he ends up being like one of our better players in the first half. But it just felt so weird. The hour long that it took for the first quarter, like we never actually came back into the game until like it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
A 1-point game turned into a 10-point game, turned into a 30-point game.
Mm-hmm.
When did we show up at all in this game? It was really kind of embarrassing on a national stage.
Non-national stage, basically.
Basically. You gotta put up. They did they shifted quite a bit tonight.
Mm-hmm.
They put a big on Ant to frustrate Ant. They subbed out Adams, and he never saw the court again. And they put Dylan Brooks on D'Lo for I think the first time this series, because last game they didn't have that. They had Brooks on Ant. They were making threes. We were not making threes. We had some questionable shot selection. We had some air balls from players that typically don't do that.
Yeah.
Kind of a lot of like one step forward, 4 steps back kind of like mentality for me right now tonight. However, one game, it's a long series. That's why it's a series. That's why this game shouldn't really you know, impact you so sorely. We won game 1. It's a series. Like if they won in both games, that would have been like that's written
expected
in chalk, right? That was expected. They were supposed to just kick our ass.
Yeah.
We stole as we took one game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now let's as you say, put up and shut up and go back home and prove it.
Yeah, I'm just so curious to see how we respond to a loss in the playoffs. Now, given I think, I think if you were to guess 2 games that we would win, I think this was not my official prediction, but like the first game makes a lot of sense because it's obviously really important. It's really hyped up, national. Obviously, everybody's talking about it. This is our first playoff game, so everybody's into it. So that makes sense that we were like that. And I think it makes sense that we let up in this game. I'm not saying that it's acceptable, but I'm saying that it makes sense that happened. And it also makes sense that the Grizzlies were pedal to the metal, quite literally at times with Ja Morant crashing and thrashing into the paint, for good or for bad. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, that's kind of my whole thought process on this. I think we do have to, as Timberwolves fans, kind of adjust our thought process because we're so used to regular season games and not playoff series. As Ashwin said, we stole that first game realistically because in any playoff series, the home team is expected to win every game. So that's why the higher seed gets more home games. So realistically, they should. And there's so in this kind of series, a 2-7 series, realistically, and maybe shouldn't even go past 5 games. But we stole that first game. We're going to go back to Target Center. I will say the way we played tonight and how off just everyone was. Like you were talking about the air balls. Jaden had like 3 air balls tonight. 3, I think. It's just, it's not a fun time. But I really do think that like this series is, we're tied. We're tied. And now we have 2 games at home. And if we can win both games at home, that's 3-1. That's 3-1. But man, it's just I don't know. It's frustrating for sure. Like obviously you want to win this game, you want to win any game, but as a 7-game series goes, I am very intrigued. Also, this is all bonus to me. Maybe I had lower expectations, or maybe I should have higher expectations.
Free basketball.
But this is free. Yeah, like usually we are well done with the season by this point. We're deep into draft videos and everything. Like we just got announced that we were the 19th pick, and I literally didn't care. I didn't care because it was like, this is fun. This is fun to be able to play basketball in the playoffs. Today maybe wasn't so fun, but game 1 was a ton of fun. The play-in was a ton of fun, and I think it showed that we can win more games in this series. But yeah, I mean, the way you lose tonight is definitely concerning going forward.
60 points in the paint to our 34. It felt that way. 60 bench points to our 43. It felt that way. 19 turnovers to their 9. I think team turnovers don't account or not are counted into that factor. It felt like that. The 3-point discrepancy should be on our side. It was not. The people who are not making threes typically or at a respectable clip did. We let them wide open. We couldn't contain any paint penetration because Cat got into foul trouble. It's a slippery slope. It's a downhill roller coaster slide of emotion. And you got to stick to your composer. You got to stick to the game plan. You got to stick to what got you here. And we didn't really show anything. I think I don't even have a player of the night. I don't really have like a who played the best for us tonight. I don't even have like a whole lot to really kind of take from this game other than, Memphis actually can kick our ass. Don't get complacent. Don't think that we're better than them. And don't take, possessions off. We have to be 100%. And I don't even know if we cracked 10.
Yeah, no, I agree. I guess my take from the game is we're 0-1 in games where there's not a protester. But no, it's just I mean, there's just not much to say about this game. It's tricky to talk about because, like, it's just when you have Towns, Ant, D'Lo, Beasley, like nobody's on during the game, it's really hard to like get a rhythm going. And on top of that, the first quarter was just nonsense. It was literally a 48-minute quarter. 48 minutes we had of real time in the first quarter. And if you're counting like just before tip off, like we're close to an hour. So it's that's insanity. That is insanity. And I actually thought early on, I didn't have a great feeling coming into this game just because I knew that Memphis was going to be so motivated. But when we came out and the game was super sloppy, foul after foul for both teams, I kind of thought that might be an advantage for us. And I was like, oh, please, let's take advantage because
it's supposed to be.
Yeah, because Memphis likes to go up and down, like they did throughout the second and third quarter. And you know, we in the first quarter, we made it out. We were only down by 1 point. And that to me felt like, holy cow, we just withstood the first quarter of probably some of Memphis's most passionate basketball that they're going to play against us, because they want to win this game by 30, which they did. But, you know, we stayed in it for the first quarter. But I also, on top of that, you know, the pace thing is right. That what we were just talking about, like the pace throws them off a little bit, doesn't get them in the rhythm. That's fantastic. But the problem is that all of our fouls happen on players that we needed them not to happen to. So like Towns has fouls. Even Ant had fouls. Pat Bev had a technical, which was bad. Right off the bat gets a technical. So then he can't do any of his extra weird getting in people's head later because otherwise he's tossed. All of these fouls were just happening to the wrong players. I felt like we were having moments throughout the game where Memphis the crowd was really getting into it at points. And I felt like we were starting some of those moments, like right out of we're starting the third quarter. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but starting the third quarter, Pat Bev gets the crowd just like going. And that's the time when they're like dead. You know, we should be taking advantage because the crowd is out getting concessions or whatever. You know, it's not as like crazy as it is normally. And instead, Pat Bev does something right away, starts complaining to the refs, and gets the crowd involved immediately in the third quarter. You know, those are just the little things that kind of happened that just continued the onslaught from the Grizzlies tonight. You know, just the cherry on top of it is that we have people like Jaren Jackson Jr. shooting 4 of 7 from 3 or something like that when he shoots like 30 or sub 30% or something like that. That's just and then Ja was hitting threes too, step back threes, which is just not his game. So it was just a lot. Like everything went right for the Grizzlies, everything went wrong for the Timberwolves, and you could just chalk it up to that, but it is a little bit more than that because the Memphis Grizzlies caused it. It didn't just happen; they caused it. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of my first take: overreaction, underreaction from the game today.
I mean, I'm going to kind of recap in a very similar vein, but just is on top of my head, and we can maybe even start to transition to the tier list and other junk that we do on the show. Awesome, amazing junk package that we have coming up for you guys. The stage was set 5 minutes in. It took 25 minutes. It got Ja out of a rhythm. It got everyone out of a funk, and it was playing into our hands so perfectly. We got into the bonus 3 minutes into the game, and we didn't take advantage. Every time we went to the line, we went 1 for 2. D'Lo missed a free throw. Vando misses a free throw, but that's expected. Cat missed a free throw. We couldn't get into a rhythm, and it kind of bit us in the foot. Like that whole perspective of slowing the game down persisted, and prolonged throughout the entire half. We couldn't get one offensive possession together. We would drive and kick. And the reason why we would drive and kick is because we couldn't figure out the actual plan. How to get a shot, how to get an in half court situated shot. D'Lo looked like You know, he was sitting in the corner, not waiting, you know, not wanting the ball. And then Ant was sitting in the corner, not wanting the ball, not looking, not hunting for the ball. Cat was in foul trouble. And then we had to go to Nas, and then Nas was playing like the way he does. We had to go to other people who had to do other things. And that's frustrating because guess what? All of their bigs were in foul trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Dylan Brooks was in foul trouble. Like, we had such an advantage.
I think they had
on Beverly was really stupid.
Yeah, they had 4 fouls, or they had 4 players with 2 fouls after the first quarter, I think.
Yeah. That is just key. That is like, the paint is red. Run to the rim. Drive to the rim. When they have foul trouble, you take advantage of it. You choke them out. Then the 3-point line opens up. And so it never did. We kept chucking. I would say, you know, we're like a 40% shooting team. We had 30 field goals, according to the stat, which is the season low for us in a game that mattered maybe the most. Maybe game 1 mattered more than this for sure. But
I think it did, yeah.
But that's like not an excuse. We only made 11 threes tonight as opposed to 16 yesterday or on Saturday. It matters because the game was so chippy and then became out of hand, and we never had hand in this game. When it got out of hand, we couldn't get anything back. Just like how Memphis would have a couple like 4 or 5 point swings in game 1, and we would respond with the 3, the TP 3, the Ant 3, the D'Lo 3.
Yep.
These were like multiple layers of daggers thrown at them, being like, you can't come back to us. We have the hand in this relationship. Well, they took it, ran with it, got out of hand. We couldn't find it back. We only knocked 11 threes, 28% from 3-point line. Will not fly. That is expected for Memphis, not expected for us. And to top it all off, D'Lo is now 5 for 22 in the series.
Jeez. Not good. We have to have D'Lo show up. He just can't. It just can't be nothing from D'Lo. He's got to figure out a way to get either fouled or make his shots. We have not seen as many rip throughs. Perhaps that's people scouting it. But at the same time, I think he's just not taking advantage of it as much, and he's settling. And the times he settles are just random, and they just kill us.
They are random, aren't they?
Yeah, it's so out of whack with like everything else going on. It's just not fun. But the last thing I'll say before you can go back to your point, and then we go to the tier list, is like Ant did have, Ant didn't have a good game because he shot 7 of 16, but like he, at least I think mentally going into another game, you can look back at his score sheet, even though I understand we lost by 30, but like he looks and he sees that he has over 20 points. I mean, that's not like at least it's not like he's looking back and like, oh my gosh, I scored 7 points and I shot 3 of 18 or something like that, So that is one thing that I am semi thankful for. But at the same time, we had turnover Ant come back, and it wasn't even from driving in the lane. It was just turnovers. Like he was just dribbling by himself and turning it over. So,
yeah. What happened? He like shook hands with Vando before the game. Because that was super unusual. I will say unusual for Ant, not unusual for a second-year player. Unusual for Ant. It was actually, JJ creates kind of maybe even like hypothesized this game going to go this direction. He read some things about like, oh, they just made their shots. That they're not going to make their shots tonight. They're going to be the team that they always are, which is just schizophrenic. And that's what happened. Like we were just like heads cut off. Let's find a shot. We have no leader out there. Finch was dealt a weird hand, and I don't think he made the best adjustments with the position he was in. But like that being said, Dylan Brooks didn't do much in this game. Desmond Bane had a really solid first half. We didn't see him in the rest of the game. Brandon Clark was awesome, but like, did he really like put an impact on this game the way that he always does? He always does those putback dunks. He always does those huge emphatic dunks. He only had like one tonight, like maybe they were already stretched to 20-point lead, so they didn't have to worry too much about it, but they didn't really, outgun us. They just outperformed us. So lots of like takeaways that are potentially like positive. We just got to make shots. We just got to play discipline. We got to play poise, put that fucking stray voltage to the curb, Cat. for like another game. We need 3 more games of no stray voltage. Cat, this is a winnable series. Just need 3 more. 3 out of 5. We can do that. Not worried. But down. Down from my cloud of whatever the fuck that cloud was. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I was thinking, I'll see you in Golden State. I really was.
I know. I was too. And, I can't admit that I was thinking, there's this possibility. Not that I don't think that I ever believed that we would sweep them, even if we won this game. But, I thought, man, we might really just take this series and dominate. I don't have that same confidence anymore. And I definitely was looking forward a little bit too much. So this is good to humble me. And I hope it humbles the Timberwolves because they need it. And again, I know I keep saying it and it's kind of lame, but like I am excited to see how they respond to a loss. Just because if they come back out super motivated next game and at home with a sellout crowd, that's going to be incredible. I still cannot wait for the game. I will be so happy. But yeah.
I'm going to say something that might frustrate people.
Do
Remember when Ant went on ESPN and said Black Jesus, and then he had a miserable stretch.
Yes.
Immediately, and we were questioning things. Well, he just went on ESPN and he was making a scene, but it wasn't like as much of a scene. It was just really kind of he was there. He was invited in for an interview.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we being interviewed? Why are we taking into these kind of demands? Because right after, it wasn't a stinker, but it wasn't his effort. It wasn't his game. He looked like not the best player out there. And I think he might be the best player in the series. Sorry, Ja. He might be. At least he's contending for it, but not tonight.
Yeah, Ja's got interesting decision-making at times that I feel like as a Memphis fan, I would be not so thrilled with. It's similar to like the Towns related things for us. There's multiple times where they're just going down the floor so quickly. He just crashes into people, doesn't get the call. And then we get the ball and just get a free opportunity to score because he's down on the ground. It's like, it's really weird, but at the same time, half of the time it works, half the time it doesn't. So it's like, it's back and forth. And if that works for him, that's fantastic. But also it's like, God, he's like, he got hurt on that screen today from Towns. And that wasn't even that egregious of a screen. It was probably an offensive foul, but like, that was, I don't know. He needs to like slow a little bit down, or maybe not slow down, but just play with a little bit more IQ. I don't know. But anyways, that's Ja. And we're talking about Timberwolves. And here we are, tier list time. We've got Jarrett Culver on there tonight, who actually played minutes. And to be honest with you, that's probably the thing that I'm the most down about tonight.
I'm pretty sad about it.
I saw him come in and I was like, yep, I'm drinking.
God damn it.
No, yeah, it was weird. But this will be a really interesting tier list. If you're new here, tier list, obviously, A1 is unforgettably great game. Spoiler, there was nobody in A1 tonight. C is what we expect out of a player, so it's unfair to the better players, but still, C is expected. Wancho is like you took away from the team actively tonight. And Glenn Taylor is you always take away from the team every night, and you did tonight as well. Everything in between is in between, and feel free to participate in chat. So, next up, first up, I should say. Let's do, we had players that played tonight. I feel like we should just do the players that we have here. I don't really care about Noel or Okogie.
I don't as well.
I barely care about some of these others. But maybe I'll just quickly do some
rapid
of these.
Fire. Let's get through it.
Rapid fire. Torian Prince actually had 12 points. Weirdly, maybe one of our best players. He had a couple questions.
Maybe one of our better players tonight.
But he had a couple questionable plays right off the bat. But after that, he was great defensively. Made some shots. It's pretty much all you can ask. Honestly, still though, we probably expect more from Torian. Although we've seen less from Torian because he's been injured. I guess I almost want to say C, but I'm feeling it maybe D.
Wombat, everyone wants you. Nobody contributed positively.
Not
in a
wrong.
30-point loss, you're not wrong.
It's not necessarily wrong, but we're gonna keep it up for the content.
Keep it up. Boing. C is where I feel.
Yeah. Okay. I was on the fence between C and D just because of how bad
I think it's
Indiana was.
79%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those first two possessions were a little questionable, and then everything after that timeout was pretty awesome.
Yep.
And then it didn't matter what he was doing out there.
Yeah,
we were
exactly.
down. We're just like he was just out there to be out there.
Yeah.
Let's go next.
Next up, Jordan McLaughlin, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 of 2 shooting. Wow. Honestly, though, this is probably a C. I don't really expect more or less from him. I was not excited. I was surprised to see so many minutes for him, but maybe it wasn't because D'Lo was sucking so bad. So I say C.
Yep, you got to see it to believe it. That's where he is. Gerald Becker says a lot of things.
Yeah.
But also he said, Finch gets a wancho for not calling challenge on the Jaren Jackson Jr. foul on Vando.
Now, I think you made a great point in our Discord. Shout out our Discord. He was saving it for the last 2 minutes of the game when we were down by 40.
Oh, it was close. We were down by 30.
It was pretty close.
There was that questionable call. The layup by Culver, could that have been challenged?
That could have been challenged. No, but seriously, that moment could have been. And obviously, it's so difficult because the challenges rules in the NBA right now are just so whack.
That would have been Jaren Jackson's third personal. That would have put him to the bench. D'Lo's shot got blocked. Then I think he had a 3 and or a putback dunk or some stupid dumb thing that Jaren Jackson does. Right? That's a swing, and it's all momentum, and it's Vando out of the game. Like Vando, I'm sorry, it's a weird series for Vando for sure. Vando on Ja would be really fun to see, but we have no size. So we can't do that. I'm sorry, Vando. That's where your expertise could come into play sometimes. However, we're on Jordan McLaughlin, and I don't really remember him doing anything this game. I remember Tyus Jones turning it over and Jordan McLaughlin not.
Yeah, I also remember Ja Morant scoring a layup on him and then giving him the too small thing, and I was like, well, he is only like 5 feet.
Yeah.
But I thought that was pretty funny because Ja.
What's up, Timberwolves? Sad face daily.
Timberwolves daily.
Can't challenge a call that wasn't called. That's right.
Yeah, but that was called a foul. Oh, I see what you're saying, Wombat. But yeah, I think that to finish up that point, I do think that if they would have challenged that, it would have been overturned. Not the Culver layup, the Vando and Jaren Jackson Jr. tie up, whatever. And maybe who knows? That could have been a turning point for us. But we'll never know.
We'll never know.
Instead, we get
also
to see
good to not know because it's time to go to the next game.
Yes, it is. And it's time to go to the next player, who's Naz Reid. Naz Reid, who started the game. I don't know how he could have done any worse. I really don't know how he could have done worse.
I'll see in a second.
12 points, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 of 4 shooting. He did have 3 fouls, but he started so terrible. Then he hit a 3, and then he started playing weirdly good defense. I am struggling what to give him. I also don't care, so I feel like I'm going to give him a D. Not the D.
Choking on this Diet Coke. It's just so it's carbonated. It's insane. I was shaking it watching this third quarter. It was so dead in the fucking arena. Our arena, which would be Target Center because we were playing in Memphis.
I'm just going to let
They just kicked our ass. They just kicked our ass. They came out hot. We came out not. Hot or not. What's the name of the game?
Rhyming.
Swipe left, swipe right.
What's your grade for Naz?
I don't care, and that's weird. I'm indifferent. He was awesome, but he made threes when no one else was. Someone had to pick up the pace. Someone had to put points on the board. Stat pattern? I'm just kidding. 10 points at halftime, and
he was
I don't remember seeing anything other than a couple blocks that could have been fouls that would have been normally fouls. That the rest were just fuck it, game over, right? So
I actually don't think they were fouls. I think he actually had good. I think he defended well. But again, to your point, I mean, what does it matter if you're playing A-tier defense when we're down by 25? So doesn't matter. But
Wombat with some bangers tonight. A child without legs could have played better.
True. I guess I'm still giving him a D.
We
I have
gotta, we
no
gotta
clue,
find a
and
child without legs.
I just don't care. So next up, Jaden McDaniels. Spoiler, this is probably going to be the worst grade for Jaden McDaniels he's ever had.
I remember a block, which probably saves him from Glenn Taylor tier.
Yeah.
For me,
for
I
sure.
have no recollection of what he did other than air balls, and that is probably the worst thing you can ever say about a player on your team. Wancho tier.
Yeah, he missed all 4 of his 3-point shots. 3 of them were air balls, and 1 barely hit the rim. It's Wancho. It's Wancho for Jaden. I'm so sorry, Jaden. It's because I decided to apologize to you last game, but it's a Wancho.
Welcome, Godfrey.
He actually did have 3 blocks. Wow, I don't remember. Oh, he did have one crazy block. So we'll give him Wancho plus. But
Wancho plus?
But still,
subscribe now.
But that's our new streaming service. Wancho plus.
Busy tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a packed. I think it's gonna be a packed Wancho tier coming up here in a second. Wombat with some fire sauce from Taco Bell. It's free. The first 12 packets are free.
Wombat, you have joined the Carl's
collective
crew.
Consensus. I'm just kidding. No. Like, it's a conversation to be had. I think we should be as positive as possible, rooting for this current team iteration. We lost 1 game out of a series. Let's maybe put those tinfoil hats down, those pitchforks.
Because don't worry.
To the side. Don't put away. Don't throw the pitchfork away.
Don't even put it in your closet. Just keep it off to the side. Because it'll be handy here in this series is done after May 1st. So May, get that pitchfork ready because we will be having plenty of pitchfork ready content.
Yeah.
But last of the bench players, Malik Beasley, 7 points, 3 rebounds. He hit his first 3, and I was like, yes. I was so excited.
We gotta get through this quickly.
Yeah, I was super excited because
Towel boys.
I was so excited though when Beasley hit his first 3, his first shot attempt.
It was magic, dude.
Yeah.
Weren't you thinking like now it's gonna just be our game?
Yes, I totally did because before the game he was talking he's like, we're gonna be aggressive and I'm ready. And I was like, he hit his first 3, 12 threes from Beasley tonight, and we're gonna win. I was like so ready, and I even thought before the game it's gonna be a Beasley game. Nope. That's pretty much where it ended. I don't necessarily want to say Wancho because he didn't get that many attempts.
But I don't think he was dealt a good hand tonight. It was really awesome to see that he was in the flow of the offense and he was featured a lot of the time in last night. And he went for those extra possessions. He went for those boards. He was in the pocket for, defensive awareness and possessions, just being a nuisance on defense. And that was the best I've seen tonight. You have that comeback mentality, the all eyes on me mentality, and show up kind of thing. And I don't think he was given many opportunities to. And there was a couple of plays that were suspect calls on him. I didn't really think that he was fouling on the Zaire Williams dunk and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
But then he was going in for more layups than I can remember. Yeah. While they went in last game, which was awesome. And it was kind of like this weird variable. Please, what's your role? What's your role? Like Beverly kind of pushes your buttons and says, hey, what's your role? What's your role? Your role, Beasley, is to shoot threes. Shoot so many threes that we forget that you do other things. That's it.
Yeah. I gave him a D. I hope that's okay.
That's fine. Every grade that you do tonight will be fine by me, except for if you give anything above C.
Okay. Yeah. No, there's not going to be above C. Yeah. Vanderbilt, we're going to go really quickly because he only played 9 minutes. He shouldn't have even played 9 minutes. I don't know why Finch put him out there to start the second half. But 1 point, 2 rebounds, and 2 fouls. I think this is a Wancho tier night for him. But also, it's a little bit more just matchups in this series, and Finch shouldn't even be playing him. I don't know. It's weird.
It's rough out there to be a Vando. That's for real. He got all primed and ready for this game to play 8 minutes. That sucks so much, man. That's got to feel bad. I don't think that's on him at all. The situation is presented in himself where your big, not you, your big is now in foul trouble. Your replacement big is now in foul trouble. What can you do? You can't do shit because guess what? You're also in foul trouble. Like, it's just a silly situation for him. He can't box out the way that more normal, typical bigs can. He's got to do something else. He's got to do something else extra spicy. That first game, that first 4 minutes where he got that extra possession for Ant to get that 3, that was beautiful.
Yes. Yep.
Didn't do a whole lot else except for just be a nuisance around the game. Yeah, he has a really weird role in the series, and we might have to make adjustments. You know who I would really like to see the starting lineup? Taurean Prince.
Ooh, I like, especially after his fantastic garbage time minutes tonight. I do think that he would be an interesting one. Yeah, no, I agree. I put him in Wancho, and we are on to the top 4 players tonight. I don't even know.
Top 4.
But we're going to start with D'Lo.
What?
Godfrey, get your grade ready. 11 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. He was 3 of 11 shooting, 2 of 7 from 3. He had 2 turnovers, but he was tied for a team high -26. D'Lo, do you want a 3-2-1 this?
I'm going to leave and come back.
Okay.
And you can...
I will grade. I think it's a Wancho. I mean, we're bordering on Glenn Taylor tier, honestly. I mean, he had the great game against the Clippers, but this series, I don't know. Ashwin had this number earlier, and Ashwin is back. But what do you remember what he's shooting for the series or something like that?
Terribly.
Yeah. Really bad.
Let me think before I probably go into static mode again.
Oh yeah, true.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Godfrey says Wancho tier, and I agreed. That's what I said. So
I think it's a Wancho tier.
I said we're bordering on Glenn Taylor tier.
I think it's bordering on Glenn Taylor tier, and Wombat remembers because Wombat's that dude. 5 for 22 Wombat. Is exactly what I said. Now I remember. It's disgusting percentage for a $30 million player. We can't really look at it like that, but we sometimes have to because the raffle ticket that was D'Lo is on full display. It's typically this. We want it to be the other. We want it to be how we got to Clipperland and how we took down Clippers. It was so nice to see. It's kind of interesting. He looked like he wanted to take this game over. Did it feel like that to you?
Yeah, it did at times. Yeah.
It felt like that where Cat was in foul trouble. Ant didn't have it going. We had to have a spark. D'Lo, I think, gets plugged back in, and he was like, all right, it's time for me to just go work. And he didn't get anything going. I think he had like his shot blocks. I think he chucked a couple threes, missed them. It was just kind of sad. It was real sad. And his shot is so predictable. Like his pump fake, never jump on D'Lo because D'Lo barely jumps. And you just close out on his like left hand. It's so easy to kind of disrupt him, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
D'Lo is best when he drives and kicks. D'Lo is best when he does his no looks to Beasley threes. I want Beasley with D'Lo on the court at all times. For when Beasley's not out there, I don't really like what D'Lo does and what he brings.
Yeah,
it's really hard to see how the Cat and D'Lo pairing have worked. They have a good win percentage. However, it is being completely exposed that they don't have any chemistry together on the court, and it's because of Ant, the kind of constant in a weird way of all of this, that we're having some amount of success. However, D'Lo needs to come hard, but needs to come to play at home. And I want to see a 20-point effort from him, and I would feel a lot better. But like the playmaking is great. It didn't even show up tonight because we didn't have a single ounce of offense in this system, and until it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I blame D'Lo for some of that, man. I honestly do.
Yeah, no, you're right. And what do men do?
Men do Wancho.
Wancho. It is true. It is a Wancho tonight.
Godfrey. D'Lo's not even trying to make things happen. He's basically just playing hot potato with the ball. That's how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
Spot on observation. We have some really mature and smart members in our community, but this is, it's totally what it feels like. Like, you guys are all, with your comments are all great, but just, he doesn't know where he's going. He just wants to get it out of his hands, or out of his hands into the rim, where it just, it barely hits the rim. It's like, I don't know what's happening. And so confidence might be shot, but it shouldn't feel like that. One game, though, we can't be super down on this team. We're going to come back. That's how it feels, right? It's going to come back. But We're going to talk about it after this tier list. Hopefully we'll get through it in a second.
We will.
But like adjustments need to be made. Like significant adjustments need to be made. We can't just show up tomorrow like in 48 hours. Not even 48 hours because this game took 4,000 hours. But like in 2 days, we got to show up.
Yeah.
We got to come prepared. Or what? We had 4 days to come prepared for this game, and we laid a giant goose egg.
Yeah.
And things have to change.
Mm-hmm.
And we're traveling, and we're going home, and we get like cornbread and home cooked meals and Glenn Taylor's pizza spaghetti extravaganza.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I also really like this comment from Gerald. This is really, and this is kind of why I am a little bit more accepting of almost anything that happens in this series, just because it's knowledge for us going forward. We're going to learn these things, but we'll get into the series after this. Before we get into the last 3 players, if you haven't already, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. We do this after every game, and we're going to do lots of off-season content. Like we said, Pitchfork content is coming, but we have to get through the playoffs first. So, anyways, next up, let's do Pat Bev. 6 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. I'm going to jump in right away, and I'm going to say this was a Wancho tier game from Pat Bev.
Borderline Glenn Taylor, actually. That was his worst performance, maybe in a Timberwolves uniform. Yeah. I have nothing good to say about him tonight. I think the fact that he just was like toying with the refs, he was playing a different game tonight.
Yeah.
And it just looked like here he is with, old man Bev with his, cat and crew, and they're not playing the same game you are, and you're playing this other game, and you're getting a tech, and you're just going to the bench. I didn't see anything out of him. Shanking threes. Playing some weird rondo floater game, missing everything.
Yeah.
Fucking sad, embarrassing. However, Memphis is tall. Memphis is big. Memphis causes him problems. He needs to just stick to Ja. He needs to stick to what needs to happen. Disrupt everything. Don't try to do anything on offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was just a really bad game.
I didn't see anything out of him. It was so sad.
I agree. When you guys were talking about D'Lo, I was kind of, you guys, I'm talking about you in chat. But when you were talking about D'Lo, about how he was just kind of passing it around aimlessly, hot potato-esque, like Pat Bev has purpose with his passes, but they were all just either a little too late tonight or kind of wild, and it was just frustrating the whole time to watch because he was trying to hit open people. It just wasn't working. Credit to the Grizzlies defense because they were scrambling very effectively tonight, but it was just a weird game from him. I certainly hope this is not what it's like going forward, but if it is, I mean, that's why you sign players to 1-year contract when they're this way. But it's just one show tonight. But anyway,
I weirdly said like Beverly looks like a father, old man Bev or whatever, and it kind of made me thinking like this team had no head. Oh my god, this team was headless and started looking to someone to save them. Started looking to someone to save them, and I'm distracted and I'm trying not to be, but Beverly's not that man. Beverly doesn't do that for us. He can't just pop up for 20. He can play make. It's a rare treat when we do get that, but he wasn't doing anything. He was leaping in midair trying to find some random dude to catch the ball in midair. Yeah. Like it's like these are not passes. These are desperation heaves.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was gross. But anyways, he's Wancho. And now we're on. Should we do Ant or Cat first?
Let's do Cat first.
Okay.
I don't want to end on a bad note.
Everybody get your grades in.
Get your grades ready.
Get your grades in for Cat while I read his amazing stat line. He had 15 points, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks, 5 fouls. He was 4 of 7 shooting. 4 of 7. That is not from 3. That is from the field in general.
Wait, in the first quarter?
I don't know. Maybe they were off the first quarter.
No.
He's 0 of 1 from 3. He did get to the free throw line a little bit, so that makes up for a couple of those, I guess, missed shot attempts. But that still only puts us at 11 if we do that. So, Cat tonight, this was really, really, really bad. And I think, again, another moment where we hate to say it, but my goodness, we just told you so. And I'm not even, because everybody here in chat understands. You've been here this whole season with us talking about these issues. This is just, I mean, we had the farthest kick out Cat's ever done in one of the most important games Cat's ever played in. Cat is just getting fouls instantly into this game right off the bat. Sure, you could maybe, I mean, if we're really grasping here, there were a couple moments where he maybe didn't swipe at the ball as somebody was going by, but still, we had so many bad plays from Carl tonight. And I didn't even mention this: 5 turnovers. Some of those are personal fouls. Some of those are actual just turnovers.
5 turnovers. Memphis had 9. I don't know, man. Yeah. What the fuck? He had 2 shots in the first quarter that went in. Both went in. That's amazing. I don't care. One shot that went out. That was a lay-in. That was like a runner lay-in in the second quarter. Went out. That was one shot attempt in the second quarter from your all-star center, potentially all-NBA. In the third quarter, took a 3, missed it. Took a layup, missed it. Had like this weird paint play. It was like a floater. It was like super contested, and it went in. Cool. Your dunk when it didn't matter in the fourth. That went in also. That's 4 shots throughout the game. Out of 7. You get a Wancho, you get a Glenn Taylor, you get a I can't wait for the offseason to discuss like what happens next.
Yes.
Because Cat, I'm rooting for you, but I'm rooting for this team first. And we're seeing Memphis with bigs play like bigs. We're seeing Utah with Gobert getting exposed when he's the only big. We need bigs. Can we get bigs for a big? I don't know. But we need bigs. We need to play bigly. We probably shouldn't get Bagley.
Yeah. No. This was just a bad game. You want to do a 3-2-1 for this?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
3, 2, 1. Glenn Taylor. Yes.
Positively, negatively affecting our team when he was out there. Naz Reid played so much better than you, Cat. Cat, this is stupid levels of embarrassing, potentially more embarrassing than the Clippers display, because at least you had a team to ride behind, and I'm sorry to admit, cry behind.
Yeah, well, and also I think, I do think that he's going to be, because I do think that this performance was borderline worse than the Clippers, because the Clippers specifically game planned to take Towns out of the game, and they successfully did it. I don't necessarily think that the Memphis Grizzlies did to that level that the Clippers did to try to take Towns out. He just took himself out of the game. And he's going to get hidden a little bit for this because it is the second game of a 7-game series, and it wasn't on national TV. It was like blacked out in Minnesota, so we couldn't even see it unless you had Bally Sports North or watched like Stream East or whatever. But it's just like he's lucky that he's going to get maybe not noticed as much for this, and that we have a quick turnaround in the next game. But boy, does he have to! He just has to figure it out in the playoffs, because sure, game 1 he played great, but now adjustments come. You have to adjust back. And I just really don't think that you've ever shown that you're capable of making adjustments quickly. You take a very long time to adjust. Think of the fouling situation earlier this year, which is still an issue, by the way. But for a time, it took you a while, but you finally stopped arguing with the refs. You finally started getting some calls. It takes many games for you to do that. It's not like one game you come back and you're super motivated. Ant had multiple games this year where he was really bad, and then he came back good the next game. Cat doesn't do that. So it unfortunately falls on people like D'Lo and Cat or Ant to take up the slack, but it's just not there. But yeah, Glenn Taylor, any final thoughts for you?
I have so many thoughts. However, I want to kind of just be done with this game. My 30-second little spiel, my shot clock violation spiel will be Xavier Tillman, the actual adjustment that Memphis made, went for 6 for 7, is a traditional big, had 4 offensive rebounds, by the way, 7 rebounds total, 13 points, a positive impact on his team. It didn't matter if he had foul trouble because he has replacement bigs. He's an afterthought on the team at times. You're our only big. You have to be available, and you have to play above expectations. That's what's weird about this for you, Kat. You want this.
Yeah.
It didn't work out, apparently. Clippers still lost. But the game plan was to take you down, and you got flustered. In this game, you took yourself out of this game. This is the big takeaway for me from this game. Is Kat took himself out of the game kind of willingly, on purpose, without question. That kickout is the dumbest thing I've ever seen because that kickout never has ever happened. It's never worked.
Yeah.
Maybe for anyone in the history of this league, that kickout, looking the way it does, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, and it's never worked.
The thing that scares me is that it makes me think that he literally has never watched film of himself, because there's no sane person that can watch that and be like, oh, could have gone either way. And if he seriously is thinking that is like an okay method of drawing a foul, like, I need him gone as soon as possible. But who knows what he actually thinks, because it's different every day. But anyways,
it is different every day.
Yeah.
I have so many thoughts on this Cat, and I want to be done. I'm sorry. I am not embarrassed. It's who we know, what we have. Like, we know who this is. We know who Cat is. He's not really surprising us. You have such a deep well of abilities and capabilities. Do your fucking role. That's all we need from our all-star. Play your role. Don't get into trouble. Don't be a fucking dipshit.
That is impossible, apparently. So, all right. Last up, Anthony Edwards, 20 points, 6 rebounds, a steal, and assist, 7 of 16 shooting, 4 of 10 from 3. Had 5 turnovers as well. Also had 4 personal fouls. I mean, this was not a good Ant game, but he salvaged certain moments of it personally for him. I mean, he had that crazy, like, behind the back step back, which was cool, but didn't matter because we were so far down. He was playing motivated basketball, and there was a point in the third quarter where we started to come back with all of our players out there. Come back meaning like, okay, we're down 25 and now it's 19. But, we were showing some signs of life and not giving up, especially Ant. But Ant just wasn't finding his shot tonight. He wasn't able to find much of anything for his game tonight. So it just didn't work. But I don't know. I don't even know if I care to 3-2-1 it. I guess I'm just feeling it's probably like I don't even know. What's your grade?
It's a C. And I almost want to be like incomplete.
Yeah.
I think this is not Ant's fault whatsoever. There is no problem with what he did tonight. Mm-hmm. Other than the Butterfinger fingers, that sucks. The 5 turnovers really fucking sucks.
Yeah.
When Finch took him out in that first quarter, Ant was beside himself. Ant finally got a 3 to go in, and he got taken out.
Yes.
That's when we should have actually struck and taken over this game, and Finch gets an L on that play right there. He takes Ant out. He took us out as a result. Ant gets hot, and he stays hot, and he's in this confident zone. The fact that he took him out means that when he gets back in, he needs another little 5-minute spiel to get ready. Mm-hmm. And when he tried, he took up a 3. The second he got in, it shanked. We didn't see a shot attempt from him for another couple minutes. Lost a little confidence, got into a foul trouble. You took him out of this game. And so Finch, not you, Cameron, Finch, L, like lower than I've expected. I was super confident that this is one of the top coaches in the league. That's not what you do. You play with feeling, you play with emotion, you see how your trends of your players have had for 18 months. Ant gets hot because when he's on, he's on. Ant is transcendent. You should have let him in and let him play. It was interesting to see Cat out there in the beginning of the second with foul trouble, getting a 3rd. It should have been really cool. It would have been really obvious to keep Ant out there. I don't know, man. It was really sad to see. I think it's an incomplete for Ant. I think he was trying to find his in a really shit stain of an offensive flow tonight. And I say, outside of a couple like hiccups on his own, like his like drive cough up the ball, and like the flub pass that was handed to him that he couldn't really reestablish himself. It was fine.
Yeah.
I am not mad about what I saw from Ant. I'm mad about how we used him and how we took him out of the game, how we deliberately went away from him, where, what the fuck? And then when he got the foul trouble, he couldn't play as aggressive on D. Then he was sagging off. Then, Brooks hits a three, Bane hits a three, fucking, everyone hits threes. Like, it's a culmination of so many things, primarily Finch and Cat stinking up the gym.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, there's just a lot of these topics are topics that we're going to be discussing a lot this offseason, Ant being the focal point possibly of our offense versus how we've been trying to kind of have it be Cat. Finch's kind of inconsistencies at points. I still, overall, I still like, and I'm not insinuating anything else like you're trying to say anything, but overall, obviously I'm still happy with Finch as a coach, but he does have throughout this entire season, we've had like 3 or 4 games of Finch that were like, yes, finally we have a good coach. And then he has one game that is like, what is this? Why are we doing this? This makes no sense. This doesn't make sense to you. Why are you doing this? Like, it's super weird. And we get unfortunately kind of a lot of that from Finch, but
from our coaches in general.
It does come in spurts. And what we're going to do now, we're going to kind of show you a preview of what's coming up next in game 3. We're going to go over maybe some predictions. We're going to go over some maybe, I guess, further predictions in the series, talk about individual players, what we're looking out for. I guess I'll kind of start. So for me, game 3, I obviously expect it to be quite rowdy at Target Center, and I think the players will be very hyped up. And I think that the beginning, I think the first quarter is going to be really crucial again, because if we don't win that first quarter, and if Memphis comes out super motivated again, and gets a decent lead on us, that's nerve-wracking. And then I'm worried for the entire series instantly. But I don't know what to think, honestly. How are you feeling going into game 3? Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling totally not confident?
How did I feel coming into game 1? I felt pretty confident. I actually had to, everyone who was kind of off the bridge, I was like, hey, man, stay on that toll, pay that toll. It's going to be an okay game. It actually could be ours for the spoils. This whole series, regular season bar none, we've had significant leads on the Memphis Grizzlies. They're young, they're unproven, they're untested. They're trying to grind their way into the Western Conference Finals. We could probably pick at them a little bit. We can get under their skin quite a bit. Jaren Jackson Jr. is actually their version of Cat. He's a very emotional motherfucker.
Yeah.
And he can get into foul trouble. And he's a little, foul prone, of course, but we could take that and take advantage of that. We got into the bonus. These are good things that we did. The game plan started off kind of like I think it was supposed to. Sometimes it feels like the first 5 minutes matters the most, and then we kind of let the foot off the gas pedal, and we kind of deviate into our instincts and our kind of like our beginnings, and we got to prove everyone wrong. We got to take over the game and some ISO bullshit. And Cat, I worry about this series. If Cat is at all in foul trouble in any other game moving on. So game 3, I'm expecting a rowdy-ass crowd. I'm expecting our team to be hype as fuck. I'm expecting so much hostility from Wolves crowd towards Memphis.
Yeah.
It could work against us. However, they're feeling themselves right now. We're not. However, I don't think we're out. I think the way that the body language I saw as they were leaving the stadium looked okay. Looked a little dejected from Cat, but looked okay from Bev and Ant. And D'Lo looked okay. Looked like he wasn't at any emotion. I'm really excited to hear what they say post game. But my answer hasn't really formed yet because I'm trying to get into it. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm hype. This is the second most winningest coach in the postseason for Wolves history. And I want adjustments. I want them now. I want TP in the starting lineup. If not, I want Vando to be foul the fuck out. I don't care.
Yeah,
Be
yeah.
stupid crazy, because what we were the first 3 games of the season, or first 4 games of the season or whatever, was really, really like erratic and unique. And maybe it got to us this new phase of how we could play defense. Vando needs to come ready to play. Beverly needs to just be on another level. Show why you're Beverly, why everyone talks about you, and why everyone boos you. And yeah, D'Lo needs to perform. And it's weird to say the most obvious bullshit. My prediction for Game 3 is the Timberwolves win. My prediction for Game 3 is the Timberwolves win, with everyone clicking.
It seems weird to say that after this game.
It seems weird to say that, right?
But I do think that we're just having a little bit of it's a little bit of recency bias illness, where it's we're seeing the game that we just lost by 30 literally an hour ago. So we're obviously a little bit down from that. But I do think that coming into Target Center, I also think the players are going to take this game as seriously or more seriously than they did the Clippers game. I think this is a big game. The crowd is going to be louder because they sold even more seats for this game. They actually took away the tarps that they have at the ends that were blocking many seats, and they sold out of those. Tickets now are a minimum of $100. So this is going to be insane. There's going to be a lot of hype, and the importance of winning this game is just massive, because you win this game, normally in a series, Game 3 is expected to go to the home team, and Game 1 is expected to go to the home team. We stole Game 1, as we were talking about earlier in the stream, and we have a very good chance at winning Game 3. And not only that, then we play at home again, which obviously it's not impossible. I don't think it's, not that anybody's saying this, but I don't think it's impossible that we could have Memphis surprise us at home. I don't think it's impossible that Memphis could beat both games at home. I think that's very possible. But this Timberwolves team is going to be motivated. And obviously it comes down to a lot of things. But one point that you're kind of bringing up that I like, that I saw somebody else talking about, was, you have a lot of these players like the Jadens, like the Vandos, like the Pat Bevs, Torian, all of these defender players that we have that maybe are expendable on offense, where you can just throw bodies at players. Take Memphis out of the game. And that's not, if there's any Memphis fans here, I promise, I know everybody in Memphis is so worried about us intentionally hurting players, but that is not what I mean. I mean, just foul them. Make it hard to make buckets. Who cares if they're making free throws? Because even though, yeah, sure, we don't want them to have 1 million free throws in the game, but clearly Game 1, that was a struggle for them. They weren't able to do what they wanted to do. And other than, I can't remember if it was the second or the third quarter. It was the third quarter where they really got kind of roaring. They were hitting threes back to back. They were going in their flow. We were going back and forth, back and forth. We were scoring a little bit, but they were scoring every time. That's how Memphis wants to play. We should be taking Memphis out of that by any means necessary, whether that's take fouls, whether that's hard contests at the rim, making sure that they do not make it. We have plenty of players that can do that. Jaden already gets 5 fouls a game. We have Vando, who doesn't usually get that many fouls a game, but could. If we throw players at them like that, I think that could throw them out of their rhythm. And we have some half-court players in D'Lo and Ant that can make up for the lack of style.
This is kind of hyping me up. I'm afraid I might be drinking this foul harder Kool-Aid of yours. This flavor is strong. Okay. Vando has no role in a lot of ways in this series. Yeah. Now you're giving Vando a little bit of a role. Whenever they drive and drive hard, they will foul the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
You have 6 fouls, Vando. You on a bench with 1 foul doesn't do anything for us.
Yeah, especially when he only plays 9 minutes.
9 to 15 minutes, whatever. Take advantage of the fact that you're out there, hustle your ass off, foul out. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's weird to admit this. We fouled the most in the NBA. Regular season, we had a 10 game over 500 record. It is abnormal. It is never heard before in the history of this freaking team. foul more. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird to hear this, but get them out of any rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially bait their drives. They can't shoot threes. When they shoot threes, the game is a little lopsided because when they're making threes, it kind of neutralizes our net advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. They get to the rim. They get fouled. Make them hard, or foul them hard rather. Get them to the line. No and ones. I wasn't trying to be dirty there when I said that. All right, Jaden, you have 5 fouls to give. I don't want you to foul out. I want you to get to that threshold. That you can do it, baby. You can do it, dude.
I mean, he can play like
Troy
normal,
Prince,
basically.
play hard. Foul up. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is a cool idea because I don't want Cat. I don't want Ant in foul trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I want the others to do all, like, raise their hands up. I don't care. Get out of this game. Because if Cat and Ant can sustain without getting in foul trouble, we have a chance in any quarter.
Yeah.
D'Lo could probably pop off for 5 fouls. I don't care because like, he's not going to get that 6th.
No.
He doesn't play enough of that role where he'll get fouled out.
Yeah.
Dude, I like this idea. It's weird, and I'm kind of elaborating on it a little too much, but like, be way bigger than our size indicates. Because we need to, because they feel like now they're on cloud 9, taking advantage of their size, doubling us on the paint. No, you can double us on the free throw line all you want. You have no rhythm. You have no offensive flow. You saw that in the first quarter. Neither of us did anything.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to the line a bunch. Well, this sounds weird. This sounds wonky. My Series 3 prediction is a win, and now I want everyone to foul the fuck out.
Yeah, I'm down. I would like I like that method. And I think you just want to, obviously, Ant is a good defender, so you want to have Ant defending. And I think Ant is smart enough not to foul out of the game. So I'm not really worried about Ant's fouling because I know that he'll have a handle on it. Towns, obviously, we just have to hide Towns defensively in the beginning of the game. He can be, and that's what we did well in the first game, is we hid him defensively to the point where there was actually one play where he blocked it, was out of bounds when he had it, so it was still their ball. But like, he blocked, I think, a Dylan Brooks drive, but he was walling up and backing up, which is great, but I don't trust Towns to do that all the time. So I don't want Towns to be in situations where he has to wall up because I just don't think it's going to happen. But hide him for the first quarter and a half, if possible, defensively, I mean, hide him for the first half, because then he can come out. Who cares? I know that Cat can pick up 6 fouls and a half. I know he can. But if it's the last half of the game, then we've had him for a majority of the game offensively, which is going to be more important. I guess you could make the argument there, though, that a lot of Cat's fouls are offensive, and that could come back to bite us. But as long as he's not getting a chance on defense to rack up even more, I think that would be good. I'm kind of talking myself into a win for game 3. I don't know about game 4. I honestly feel like, I guess my thought process is whoever wins game 3, the opposite team will win game 4 is kind of my mindset at the moment.
So it'll go back to Memphis tied.
That's kind of my feeling.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen, obviously, but like,
yeah,
I just think, I think if we win game 3, I think Memphis should win game 4. I mean, with the seed that they are and the team that they are, they should. But I also still don't think it's impossible that we could win game 4 as well. But we'll get to game 4 in our game 4 preview eventually. But yeah, I guess I'm talking myself into a win.
This series needs a new dynamic, and this new dynamic might be to foul harder. It's weird. Yeah. We need to make shots first and foremost. We need to get stops when we can, and if we can't, we got to foul. Like, that's just weird, and that's hard to admit. That's just got to happen. It can't happen from Ant or Cat. So when they are driving by those two, they're getting to the rim.
Mm-hmm.
I really like our kind of scrambling, kind of like suicide defensive scheme sometimes. Yeah. But when Cat's in foul trouble, when it's another player out there, it gets really hard to kind of just like be in a rhythm. So it starts with Cat, 100%. It starts with Cat. Another key to the game is got to get Ant more touches, D'Lo more touches, be more aggressive. It was really cool to see that very first possession, and then I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I really don't know what happened.
I do think we do need to live a little bit more. And see, here's the thing with Ant is that Ant's 20, and this is his first playoff experience. And this is where I think we kind of have to, as Timberwolves fans, try as hard as we can to reel in our expectations for this year specifically, just because I mean, obviously Ashwin and I are big proponents of this. We want to have Ant be kind of like the center of our offense. We want Ant to be the one with the ball coming up the court, like we saw in game 1, like we saw in the Clippers game, because it works. When it works, you're winning, you know. And right now he's 20, he's young, so he doesn't have that much experience, but we need to start doing that now. And maybe it doesn't always convert, you know. I'm not saying that tonight was a night that it didn't work, because I do think that, like we were talking about earlier, you know, it maybe a little bit more on Finch is kind of an incomplete for Ant, but we're gonna have to live and die by Ant for now, because I just don't think you have the option of living by Karl Anthony Towns in the playoffs, and D'Lo has not proven that either, other than in the Clippers game. So you know, we kind of just have to hope for Ant to not turn it over, and to be a good playmaker when he needs to be a playmaker.
We need Beasley to hit threes. We need Jaden to hit a shot. We need a protest of some sort. We need one of Noel, Prince, Nasri to get popping off. Like we need all that contribution. We need energy in that target center, and it needs to like live on the court. Like we need to see that energy translate from our fans to the court. I'm excited. I would have been way more excited had we won tonight. But it makes sense.
Yeah,
we are not an impossible team to beat. We are very flawed, and we can get exposed on a dime in a quarter itself. Pennies and nickels.
Exactly. Well, I agree. I'm excited for Game 3. As we've talked about, I will be at Game 3 and Game 4. So for the streams going forward, they will be a little bit later. So check out Timberwolves Daily before, and then we'll be on afterwards. It could take me a long time to get back from the games, depending on how crazy traffic is. So just be prepared for some long, late nights, especially Saturday night. Holy shit. But Saturday
It's a
night,
late one.
It is 9 p.m. Central Time. And with the pace of this game, it won't be done till 1.
I'll see you on
Sunday. It'll be crazy. But
Thursday's going to be awkward for me. I'm going to maybe miss some good chunk of that game. I'm going to try to get off work early, but whenever I get off of work early, it seems like we perform poorly.
Yes.
So we'll see how that goes. But chat, you guys are awesome. I don't know how you guys deal with us after that kind of game, but you did. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, which is here off screen. And, join the Discord. It's a fun conversation at times, not tonight, but it's typically very fun. The over and unders are posted. I'm not going to repeat them because I don't want to. The tier list typically are posted. I forgot because I'm lazy. And I guess Miami won, and the Pelicans
won.
Beat Phoenix.
Yes, I think Devin Booker went out in the fourth quarter with like some hamstring soreness or something. But
after popping off in the first quarter,
yeah. It was interesting. I was watching the score live. I couldn't see the play, but I saw the score, and I was like, holy cow. But yeah, as Ashwin says, I appreciate everybody in chat for showing up. If you're new here or if you're watching the VOD, we do this after every show. We do this after every game. Talk Wolves, and we'll be doing this in the off season, like we were talking about, pitchfork conversations, and all of next season probably. We'll see. Oh wow, I won the over under. I got 6 out of 7 tonight. Negative Nancy got all of them right tonight. Love, yeah, I did. The big boy says, love how I went with the most pessimistic picks possible, and the only one that missed was Jaws points. Yeah, pretty crazy. But
we're gonna be hungry. We're going for that dub.
Yeah,
we're taking a win. We're taking a series lead. It's gonna feel fucking good. Beverly's going to just be screaming at them in the locker room. It's all going to be positive culture building activities like trust falls and all sorts of other things. Like camping in the wilderness with the wolves, the actual real life wolves. We're gonna do some manly shit.
Yeah, let's do it.
Fuck yeah, manly shit.
And Dodie, thank you.
Dodie,
thank you. But yes,
I think he's from Indonesia.
Let's have some good vibes on Thursday, and we'll see
Godfrey.
you.
Look at this triple exclamation point.
Wow,
Godfrey.
Godfrey.
I'm hype.
I'm hyped now. Yeah.
Let's
All right. Well,
have it
we'll see
Thursday
you
right now.
all. We'll see you all Thursday night. 52 wins is still possible, by the way. We are at 48. We intro is the outro. That's what I was going to say. Intro as the outro.
Let's
We
go.
will see
That's
you
hype right there.
Thursday night.